One. Bona, this afternoon we're into conversation with Chaz, and Chaz this afternoon will be unpacking the subject of the excessive spending and flaunting culture of our people. Chaz, take it away.
Yeah, so that's the crux of our topic today. You know, I see a lot on social media, and maybe we've seen over the years, you know, post-apartheid black people, you know, opportunities are ripe for everyone.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of our brothers and sisters who've done really well for themselves. And in comes social media. And what happens is social media cracked open this portal that I feel feeds into this black culture of us wanting to stunt on each other. What is stunting? Flexing. I want to show you, Uba, I've got it better than you. I'm doing well. I've got 5 Range Rovers and a Porsche. I live in Waterfall. Whatever the flexing may be, right? So we have this culture of
flexing.
1, excessive spending, and 2, showing off our excessive spending in a way to make you feel like you're not on my level. And I want to deep dive into why that is. Why is it that as a culture of black people, we feel the need to do that? Because if we look at our Caucasian counterparts, there are tons of them that own the color blue, for example. Their wealth is beyond. They sign the checks of the check signers. You know, they always say our fathers.
That's who I want to be.
Our fathers who are in Stellenbosch. You know those guys. Those guys don't have social media.
Yeah.
Why? Those guys don't show the billions of rands that they have and the thing. They can buy countries. Well, they do buy countries, right? Because we all know somewhere along the line they're influenced. Why don't those people show what they have like black people do? Yeah.
Now, Pendula, that it's because one thing I've seen, the black culture is a very flamboyant culture. It's like siyathanda pencil. You know, it's that thing of ukula, like what's this? And abantu abakuthathi nice. The girls are not saying hey, yabona. So manje so clever manje. Uhamba ngemoto entwempu kwamele ugcwalisele labantu. All those days bowubhenja abantu bebengakhulumisi. So it comes from that culture, but also another thing, because with one thing about materialism.
Yeah.
Yes, it's to always to cover a spot. Because uthole ukuthi abanye, they had parents that were rich, yabona, and things. But now uthole ukuthi the parents never had time for them. So manje umuntu ubalekela kwisidwadlo. It's because now kwisidwadlo is the only way you get validation from us. You are not that cool. So the only time
you're using money.
The only time someone would, oh hey, he exists. Kwamela pensela. Kwamele be isidwadlo. So it comes from ukupensela. Then abanye, it's just like it's new money. It's new money. Auga, like, you know, as much we take it for granted, there are some gents or even some girls uze waqede high school 200 akakazi wayiphatha. And manje uzoyiphatha manje, you know, like mayiqala uba celeb and things. Yabona, so it does something like to the psychic. Then on the other side, with our father who are in Stellenbosch, those people are exposed to money.
Yeah.
There it's like if you've checked, like the bigger the money is, the more morals. It's because manje, if someone gets 35 million, you know ngangikhomisela ngayo.
Absolutely.
Manje kwamele ungigcwalisele ngerespect. Okay, I respect that human being's morals. But no, if uzongipointsela ngemali isinemali, it's kind of dumb.
All right.
That's how I see it.
I hear you, but I would love to hear your take, Chaz, on this one.
So, yeah, there is an element of it's new money, right? Black people are not used to having money.
Sure.
You know, if we take it back to the days of apartheid, we didn't have money. The people who did have money were those like running spaza shops or some kind of business within limits. So once things opened up for us, we're still learning how to deal with money. So we have that new money syndrome. I've got money, I want you to see it. And again, as Sib says, we're using it as a way to buy respect.
Yes.
Which in itself is problematic, right? Because are you then really fostering authentic relationships? Because imali yako mayiphela, kusho ukuthi my respect for you iyaphela.
Yes.
So how do I want to be seen based on money? Why can I not want to be seen? You can still have money and garner respect, but you don't have to make people feel less than in order for you to garner respect. There are tons of people. We'll make an example of Uputi Motsepe. He's a billionaire. He doesn't have Instagram. He doesn't have thingy, but he's respected because what he's done is he's taken the money that he has and he's opened businesses and he's fostered opportunities for other people, and in that way they respect him. And I think there's the second part of this. Yes, there's new money. There's a trauma element. Black people have a traumatic relationship with money. Because we never had it, we are scared that we are going to lose it.
Yes.
And so we do everything. Hey, izophela, let me spend it now. Let me buy the Range Rover now. Let me go live in Danefern now. Not realizing, Guti, that in itself is to our detriment. Because you are now consuming the thing that has gotten you out of poverty in a high rate, right? So that's the second part. So we've got new money, we've got trauma, and last but not least, we've got financial literacy. As yes, financial illiteracy, yes, or lack of financial literacy, right? Asiyazi mali phathwa kanjani, we don't know the basics. If we go back to education, and I like all the time to question the changes in education, because I look at all these curriculums, Mina, to this day I don't know what E equals MC squared does, but accounting is a good foundation. We need to be able to teach ourselves, because the education system is not doing it. We need to be able to teach ourselves financial literacy, our children financial literacy. What are the goals that you have for money, and thus then influence the relationship you have with money. You can absolutely come from poverty and do something great with your life without having to flex and buy a Range Rover. And I'm not saying in any way that people who have money don't deserve those things. They absolutely do. A culture of stunting on each other instead of building each other up. So for me, it's those three pillars. It's one, we're new to money. It's two, we have financial illiteracy around money, and three, the trauma that we have with money in terms of how we grew up, because ekhaya sashotelwe imali, and therefore the quality of life was terrible. So now by all means I want to improve my quality of life, which you should, but lende yokuthi as a nation askwazi to bring each other together. Instead, I'm going to say, Sibs, today nesikhwama se-LV ngizosibeka la khona uzosibona. What is
this
that?
Status.
Ngilwa naleyo nto, right? And how does new money or excessive spending show itself? So let's discuss. It shows itself in excessive of buying cars, which we see. We saw, I don't know if people know Sam Holdings and Hamilton Glovo. Right? So it shows itself in that way. We stunt and we buy cars, which, first of all, cars the biggest liability in history. I don't know why you would want to spend money. But in Sam's situation, he had 79 cars convoying to Durban.
July.
At what point is that, like, when does it get disgusting? Like, to what end are we doing this? That's stunting, but that's another level of stunting. 79 cars is excessively excessive.
That's excessive.
There was no way E-Hawks and all these other people were going to be like, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first way, the stunting and in cars and excessive spending. Clothes. So you see with social media influencers, Benza, I'm unboxing. Kona le or I am unboxing. Gucci. I must put a camera here, and I must open the box, and I must show you all that I bought Gucci. What is that? You must show people that you've got it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, one thing I've seen, like with the whole spending thing, like, first of all, the culture of we have a very materialistic culture. So it's like, it's because it's even happening, it's just bigger than even like the economic thing, even like in dating. It is that culture, to be honest, so it is a big problem. I mean, the whole thing of 79 cars and things, but I think where I like the point, Mauti, the financial literacy ayiko. I think it's really like a big point, because there are questions we like to laugh at. I mean, simple questions as in, esbal manga we need 3 million uzothunani. You hear the most things like so it is like a big problem. But one thing I say, Uti, if you experienced into semncane, like, what's this? I don't think like there's I'm a pressure, guys. Because, yesterday I was just, dwelling with like with the podcast as usual. And Dr. Oma was just like, what's this? The problem is that when you were adults, sometimes the reason you end up doing izinto snacks is because of the needs bozifuna as umntana zange uzithole.
Yeah.
Yabona, so it comes from that. But I think we should try to change the culture, but we can't just change the culture ngomlomo. I think Tina, as abantu abadala, we should try to change the culture for the future, because indlela ibuzwa kwabaphambili.
Right.
If the youth sees a pattern from abohrotman nabasazinzi lezinto, then nathi sizostopa sotlatsa abantu.
But then that speaks to the peer pressure element of it. Then it has to work both ways, right? You can't say peer pressure is not involved when you're also looking to Abu Khrodman for the thing. That means, in a way, peer pressure plays a role. And social media does that, and I see it with young girls all the time. They are excelling in age because they want to catch up. Inganena 21 is concerned about
the
number of followers and getting into Konka. There was a whole thing on TikTok in December about these 16-year-olds that were at Konka, and I'm just like, at 16, guys, I was not concerned about a BBL or a weave or going to Dubai.
Yes.
So social media definitely creates this influence of, you ain't got it, you got a lot of work to do, I'm living this life. And so kids coming out of school no longer have aspirations to do good things, they want to be seen.
Yes.
So from the point of a conversationalist, what would you say would be the solutions that we can put in place to solve this? Because it's a reality. I have seen it a couple of times, unboxed it. I thought people get paid for that. I thought it's people who are getting paid by these brands to unbox. But now, if you're saying it's a whole flex.
No, there's a difference between like getting a PR box from Fanta to promote their new drink, right, which happened quite a lot on TikTok.
Yeah.
Gucci is not paying you to unbox.
It's just a flex.
It's a flex. And to the point where now people are even buying fakes to look rich. That is where we are even willing to compromise the integrity of the real thing so that we appear in a certain way. There's a trauma sort of related to this.
Yes.
For me, I don't have all the answers, but the beginning is financial literacy. And I understand that in our parents' homes, Tina Gesakula as millennials, they didn't have it, right? Babe funda bantu education.
Yes.
And so they were doing the best with what they got.
Yes.
We are now, and going back to previous conversation, which is why I wanted to extend from the black text conversation, is that as millennials, we know we're sort of in between, right? We're in between the culture of ukhlupeka and making it. So we kind of have both spectrums, and we are at a great point now, because us millennials are now the parents. We're at a great point now to start fostering good financial habits, because we had the Model C education, or access to better education. And we now live lives where we make more money and better money. And we're also in the age of social media. It is up to us to say, okay, Chaz, you know but also you know our stage of good to take Range Rover. I need to get there, but at the same time, I need to be realistic. And it comes to the point for me where you have to do work on yourself, because I can't allow my traumas of ukula to affect how I am now. When you are solid in yourself, Mozi, you don't care to be seen. In fact, you don't want to be seen.
I don't want to be visible,
Exactly. I don't want to be seen, because one, right, with people. Two, there's an expectation that you have to always maintain this. Now, you've introduced us to this life. You're not allowed to fall. You're not allowed to drive a Range Rover today and a Chaz tomorrow. So you are now sort of forced to keep doing things to keep you in the situation. So if you're not healed, you're always going to try to look for validation from social media, from other people, from money, from objects. I've had my car for 8 years. Would I love to buy a Mercedes-Benz? Would I? Absolutely. But realistically, I'm not there. And I'm in an age where my friends are driving convertibles. I'm in social media. But because I've realized so there's a sense of healing that we need to do as individuals around our relationships with money. There is education level that we need to sort of learn either in schools, whether the government needs to change what schooling looks like in terms of financial literacy, and even on ourselves, do our own homework. You know, I always see on social media labenzi forex abati bayafundi, so which is quite funny.
Inbox,
And I just see people fall for it, and I'm like, if people can just do their own research about money, or you try their best to find a banker, or research, you know, best money practices. There's tons of online courses on accounting and things. So it's education, it's healing your traumas as well, and your circle. What are the circles that I'm hanging around with? I would never want to be friends with someone who is stunting on me purposefully. Right? Like I said, I have a friend who has a convertible, but he doesn't rub that in my face or doesn't use it as a mechanism to be respected. Yes. So what does your circle look like? If my Jay-Z has a really great line in one of his songs where he says, in my circle you're not successful if the people next to you are not successful, because it means that why are you successful and not bringing your friends along, which is what I think our other counterparts, our white counterparts, do so well, is that you can't be broke if you're my friend. That doesn't make sense, because then we're not having the same conversations.
True.
And so in you having a circle that is worried about the wrong things, you too will then fall into the wrong things. And there's a beautiful saying that says, if I'm in a room of 5 millionaires, I'm the sixth. Because there's no way you have 5 friends that are millionaires and you're not absorbing the millionaire mentality, right? So, bigger your circle, nogutu hlala gopi. So for those, for me, are the 3 most important points in trying to sort of get out of this situation.
Yes.
Sibs, you want to say something?
No, I don't want to say something.
Yeah, so those are the 3 points for me of trying to get out of the situation: is heal your traumas, go to the therapy, speak to people, you know, heal whatever it is about money that has broken you down. Funda, make your own homework about what financial literacy looks like. Make your own goals. What is it that I actually want to do? Do I really need this Gucci t-shirt, or am I doing it for something else? Do I ask yourself those questions before making these types of purchases? If I'm buying a 30,000 rand t-shirt, why couldn't I invest it in a 30,000 rand portfolio instead, that's going to actually give me something at the end of the year, and I could see passion by the end of the year? Because guess what? 3 months from now, the winter collection is out, and your Gucci. And I saw it a lot in COVID. COVID revealed so much to me.
Yes.
Especially on social media, because I saw a lot of the people who were using social media as a gig suffer. They couldn't pay rent. They couldn't do anything because, one, the Gucci stores are closed. Your Gucci bag is doing nothing for you now. We don't care about it. People are dying. If you didn't wake up in that era...
No one's unboxing Gucci's.
No one was unboxing Gucci's then. People were worried about yeast and bread and the basic necessities of life. So I always say COVID was a great time for change. That's why we see world of work changing. And you've got a lot of work to do on yourself. But I say that to say this, and I'll give black people a break next week because I've been coming on them heavy this month. But I do that because I love Abantu Abamnyama. What I really want to see is black people fostering and building our communities as opposed to flexing on each other.
Wow.
We see Abo like LeBron James and the Oprahs, they come here to build our schools. Why can't we do that? Because clearly you've got the money.
You've got more than
or you say you've got the money.
If people go out to Konka and swipe over 100,000,
right?
Groove. You could have taken that 100,000, opened a literally 10 puzzles shops in and around the area, and employed your own family to actually run those stores.
Right.
Empower somebody.
We have
empower the next person.
We don't know how to create generational wealth.
Yes. No. With the Konka story, Muzi, just to figure something. Konka, it's that business is for like people bafunu clean imali. Akunamuntu onormal nje ozovela
Ibill ya 200,000.
Yes. No, it's just to clean money.
Yeah, that's how we feel about it. That's how Sieves feels about it. The cleaning business. Unfortunately,
I want to say I'm not involved in that assumption. Thanks.
We are out of time. Thank you so much, Chaz, for coming through to share those conversations with us this afternoon. How do people connect with you further to engage with you on this topic of excessive expenditure? Educate us through your platforms as well.
Yes, so it's at Chaz in Conversation on TikTok, at Miss Chaz _ on Instagram. The Chaz is CHAZ, just to be clear.
Yeah.
And we'll continue the conversation there, guys.
And she's promised that next week she'll be at least reducing the blows. But Bona, I wish she can keep on throwing those
on black people.
We have got to shape our minds for a better future. Like I said, I'm already done and dusted with my 2024. So don't be surprised if I keep saying 2025.
Oh, wow. Siba, well, you're in the future. Men from the future.